Hello, everyone, and welcome to this segment of the Advisory Health Council's Wellness Spotlight. I'm Dr. Ken Friedman, president of the East Brunswick Advisory Health Council. And on this Wellness Spotlight, I'm thrilled to have as our special guest Harriet Galub, who is a Reiki master. Welcome, Harriet.
Thank you, Ken.
Harriet, you've been not a lifelong resident, but you've been a resident of East Brunswick for 35 years.
Yes.
You're president of Temple B'nai Shalom in East Brunswick.
Yes, I am.
A leader in that capacity. You're also a volunteer and serve East Brunswick on the Advisory Health Council. Can I ask you a question? What made you become a Reiki master? What drew you in?
Well, healing, natural healing has always been one of my passions. Many years ago, I worked with the AIDS Interfaith Network, and I saw the pain and the suffering that people who had the disease were going through. I was interested in helping, and that's how I got started in Reiki.
Could you tell us a little bit more about Reiki? I know that it's an ancient healing art. Can you give us a little bit of background in it and tell us exactly what it is?
Sure. Reiki is an ancient healing art with its roots in Tibet. In the mid-19th century, a Japanese monk, Dr. Yasui, reestablished Reiki, and the system that he has started is what most practitioners use today.
And what is the practice of Reiki involve? When a person goes to a Reiki master, what type of examination do they receive, or what is the focus of care? What is Reiki trying to accomplish?
Well, Reiki is a Japanese word with two syllables. The first syllable, rei, R-E-I, means universal energy. The Ki, or chi, is the life force energy that we all have. So when somebody goes to a Reiki practitioner, we want to activate the universal life force that everybody has, remove blockages, and have them experience life in a more balanced way.
How do you do it? You know, if I come to you, and how do you examine me? How do you check me and find out if I have blockages and where they are, and then can you explain what you do about that?
Okay, Reiki can be done anywhere. It can be done in a wheelchair, in a chair, wherever. In a typical Reiki healing session, it's done on a massage table. The person who is receiving Reiki lies there fully clothed, while the Reiki practitioner stands usually at the top of the head. The practitioner takes their hands and works down the body from the top to the feet, either putting their hands on the receiver's body or above the body. It doesn't matter, Reiki goes where it needs to go.
And how long does a session last? Is there any pain or sensation involved?
There's sensation. A session usually lasts 45 minutes to 90 minutes. There's no general, it stops at 45 minutes. Some people who are receiving Reiki feel relaxed. Some people who are receiving Reiki see colors. Some people who are receiving Reiki have an emotional realization. The reaction is different for everybody.
How would a person know whether or not this form of care would be beneficial for them?
In my opinion, Reiki is good for everybody. There are 7 major energy centers in the body we call chakras. They all need to be open, and in my belief system, they all have to be spinning in a clockwise direction. When they're not, the body is open to malfunction. So what the Reiki practitioner does is make sure that the energy is flowing in the body to achieve well-being and balance.
And obviously when the energy is flowing better, then a person has a better chance of being able to experience the best level of health that they can.
Absolutely. Reiki practitioners don't do the healing themselves. We're conduits for the people who are receiving Reiki.
Now, if you're a conduit, where does the energy come from that flows through you to the receiver?
Most Reiki practitioners have something called attunements. There's a Reiki 1, a Reiki 2, and a Reiki 3, and that's a master, the Reiki 3. And when we get attuned, it activates our own energy, so we could help receivers activate theirs.
How long does it take to become a Reiki practitioner and eventually a Reiki master?
Well, it took me 3 years. Not only do I do Reiki, but I also do crystal healing and magnified healing. So with all of those combined, it took me 3 years to become a Reiki master.
Tell me about one of your most interesting cases.
My most interesting Reiki case was with my cat, who was very sick, and I would do Reiki with her, and the next day she was fine. When I spoke to my Reiki master and said, "This is really silly, I'm doing Reiki with a cat," my Reiki master said, "No, it's not silly, because cats don't have any ideas of what Reiki is."
So they don't have any prejudices that could interfere with their reception of what you're doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Interesting. Are there any types of specialized situations where Reiki works best? Have you seen high-level athletes get it to be able to improve their personal bests, or people under great deals of stress? Do you have people who bring their newborn babies in to make sure that their energy fields are open and that everything's working well? Typically, what do people do?
Reiki works for everybody. Everybody has life force energy. I attuned my grandson when he was 8 hours old. I've done Reiki with plants, Reiki with athletes, Reiki with my father as he was actively dying. We all have energy that flows through us, and that can be activated.
How do you know when the blockages have been removed?
By the feel. If I scan the body with my hands, you could see, I could feel where the blockages are removed and where the energy is flowing smoothly.
So your hands are specialized in their ability to be able to feel energy blockages and the removal of those blockages, and that's where you get your feedback.
Absolutely. If not, I use a pendulum, which is a stone on a string, and it spins around, and I could tell where the blockages are removed that way too.
So Harriet, as an expert in healing and wellness, so many people are interested in having a healthier life and being well. What advice could you give to the residents of East Brunswick that would help them have a higher level of wellness?
I would say be aware. Be aware of your body, how you feel, be aware of blockages, take an inventory of how you're doing physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually, and go from there.
Thank you, Harriet.
Thank you, Ken.
It's been a pleasure having you today.
Thank you.
Well, this is another segment of the Advisory Health Council's Wellness Spotlight. Thank you again to Harriet Galub for sharing your wisdom on Reiki with us. And remember, everybody, wellness works if you work it. I'm Dr. Ken Friedman, President of the Advisory Health Council. Thank you for joining us.